Oh, hey guys, I didn't see you there. I technically, yeah, no, I did. I mean, we set up the camera and everything. But yes, this is Divine from the future. Hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm from the future, as you can see. This video is so amazing for me because I actually already filmed it while I was at home. So this is like a little intro so you're not weirded out when you see that in the video Divine has hair, but right here Divine has no hair. Yeah, so this is kind of me filming from the future to say welcome. This is part 2 of our amazing series. Like you guys already know, we've been in the talks and wanting to do this for a while. So this is just kind of like a little intro. Welcome. You're gonna be watching Divine at home during quarantine, in my mother's house, on my mother's couch, still enjoying my mother's money and her food, free food. Yeah, so please enjoy. Yeah, I'm just gonna give you over to Divine from the past. Hello. Hey guys, that was too loud. Sorry for shouting at you. I'm gonna do that again. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Divine. I'm the D of DNN. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of start the video by introducing myself. And I'm black. Yeah, that's that kind of video.
And
yeah, I kind of wanted to speak about what has been going on in the world in light of the Black Lives Matter protest and the recent murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. I feel like somebody might say, why this video? Why is Divine speaking about this? How does this concern you? And I feel like I'm going to answer all those questions in the video because I think it's very relevant. And this is not about clickbaiting or anything. It genuinely is my own experience as well with racism in South Africa, outside of South Africa. I kind of give a subjective, unique view to this, and yeah, just taking it from there. It's more of a conversation, so I hope you guys get comfortable. And yeah, we're gonna talk about race. So I grew up in the DRC. My family moved to South Africa when I was 14. Yeah, and we've been here for about 10 years. So I've almost spent as much time being Congolese as I have being pseudo-South African, foreigner in this country. And my experience in DRC I can definitely say had been different because obviously these are different countries. I'm just going to describe the climate of DRC. I grew up in DRC, born in 95. That means I was born a good 25 years after the independence. We were colonized by Belgium, so yes, it was a French-speaking country, but they basically packed their bags and left in 1960. So me being born 20 years after that, I can already see the differences compared to like people my age in South Africa. I feel like by the time I was born, not that there was no racism or there were no ramifications or seeing the effects of the colonization, but we had, I guess, more time, after that than, people my age in South Africa. Demographic speaking, just to be honest, there are not a lot of white people in the DRC. I'm speaking there, I haven't been there in 10 years, so make of that what you want. But growing up, the same way that I guess people in South Africa can say, yes, your country is very culturally diverse. In my country, it wasn't as much as that. Like if you saw one white person or one family, it was very limited in numbers basically. We grew up with the norm being the majority of the population was black people, and that's how I grew up. It never really changed the way that I saw white people, anything, or people of different races. It's just my norm was people who looked like me. So yeah, I grew up in a family like that. I'm from a big family, but even then, from home, the way that we were raised was never to treat people differently from our race, people who look differently than us, people who spoke different languages, people who had a different culture. One big example that I could think of is one of my dad and mom's business partners. He was a Chinese man, and we just called him Uncle Kim. Obviously, he had a real name, and his name was Kim, but he was Uncle Kim to us. And for a couple of weeks, I would even say months, he lived with us at home. So when my dad was getting breakfast in the morning, Uncle Kim was at the table with him. and they spoke business, and he stayed with us for the longest time. And Uncle came and us had a very beautiful relationship of whenever he came home, he gave us like sweets. Some of them were disgusting, I won't lie, but most of them were good. And he always gave us money, but it was always like a brand new notes from the bank. Like I never got money from him that was like, I don't know, had been passed from generation to generation. It was always new money. So we grew up with Uncle Kim. Like obviously he was Chinese, but he was our uncle. And I can genuinely say because of that interaction, we kind of were acclimatized to different people. We never saw people as I can't interact with this person because of the way that they look, even because of the language that this person speaks. And what was really funny was that Uncle Kim back in those days only spoke English and obviously Mandarin. But for us, he couldn't really communicate with us in French. My mom and my dad obviously were gangsters back in the day. But for us, we didn't know. So even with that language barrier, we still could be able to relate to him. Because of the money and the sweets, maybe. But because he was a good man, because he was sweet, because he was understanding, because he never saw himself as older and he couldn't interact with us. So that was Uncle Kim and our relationship with him. And I can honestly say, my view is obviously deeply rooted in my upbringing, but also the level of privilege that we had. To be able to interact with different people from different countries, because when we were younger we had the opportunity to travel. We traveled to South Africa before we settled to live here at least 2 or 3 times before we came here permanently. We had been to Italy, we had been to France, we had been to Belgium on holiday as a family, and because of that, those were the different type of interactions that could also educate us to have a different upbringing. Not that traveling makes you a more empathetic and less racist person, but it informs your view of people, and I guess it informed us as well and helped us not to see people any differently but to treat them equally. You shouldn't use that as an excuse though. You should still be a decent human being, because ultimately it was about what was taught at home. But yeah, and the only time that I noticed truly that I was different, or the 2 times I stood out, was when we were in Italy, because mind you, in DRC it's mostly black people. When you see a white person or a white family, it's like okay, they stand out. But when we went, we were the ones who stood out. I remember being in the Vatican and be like, even Jesus don't have space. Like I don't see black people nowhere. It was very awkward, but that was the first time that I understood that okay, there are differences like that. And still we're treated with respect. I think it was when we moved to South Africa that I really started to see that differentiation and that difference in the way that people treated people, in the way that people comported themselves towards different people, different background and different races. I'm gonna try and make the story really, really short because it's a long story. But basically I went to a normal school, I guess, and then from that normal school I was moved to a different school when I finished grade 10 going to grade 11. The new school was ACE. I'm going to speed up the story, but basically it's a different system. It's an American system that you work at your own pace and you finish quicker. So if you have 12 books per subject that you're supposed to finish in four terms, and you do 3 per term, you should be done, and some people do more per term. That means they finish school earlier. And when I got to that school, they were like, bro, this is a different system, so we're gonna have to push you a year young, we're gonna have to hold you back a year. So instead of going to that new school and starting grade 11, I went to the new school and redid grade 10. So obviously I was like, okay, it is what it is, but I was obviously bothered by it, so I worked really fast. So instead of finishing in 3 years, I finished in 2 years and a few months, a few weeks actually. So because I finished school at the beginning or just before mid-year, I applied to study. So instead of starting my first year in the beginning of the year, I started it in the second semester. And when I got to campus, they were like, okay, you don't look like you're gonna struggle. So they let me do my second semester work first. Yes. And then the year after, I started with first semester, first year. That's a whole different story when I talk about some other time. But basically when I got to campus, that was the situation. I got a raise. I got assigned a raise to go stay at, and from HRA I went straight to Westmarin. Shout out Westmarin. I should actually be doing this video with my Royce hat. Not the point. The point is I got to Rest Marine, we called down the prime, and she came and she saw me. I showed her the paper. I'm like, they told me to come here, there's a room here for me. She's like, okay, cool, hold on. She went upstairs and she disappeared for a good like 20 minutes or so, and then when she came downstairs, she was like, okay, cool, there's a room here, but I just want to find out with you if it's cool that your roommate is white. I was like, bro, don't be weird. Like, is that a thing? I don't mind at all, you know, like, I didn't understand. But later on I found that there's actually a policy in Rest where you're supposed to place white people, black people. In fact, it's only white people, because Indian and black and mixed, colored and black, and you know, the issue is not there. The issue is white people with white people, and everybody else can just, you know, be friends. Period. You know, the issue, that's the thing, it starts there, like, but that's a whole other video. So anyway, I got upstairs, I met my roommate. She was lovely. She introduced me to everybody in our corridor and some, hey, this is Divine, she's my new roommate and she speaks French. Literally, that was the sentence that she used, and I was so excited that I had somebody who would kind of show me around. If you know anything about Rest culture, university culture, there's a lot that they do at the beginning of the year to make sure that the first years are that they feel welcome, that they feel like they're part of something. So if you come in the second semester, bro, basically what I'm saying is US code. It's very lonely, but don't worry, I'm not sad. I made up for it. I got to be elected as RC, so I got to do all the initiation, all the fun stuff without the rules. Like, yo, I could hug boys, like first years who are watching right now. Oh, with COVID, you don't even have your privileges. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Not the point. But at the beginning, I got there, she seemed really sweet, and I got there on a Thursday. My family left. Obviously, you know, there were tears. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I choose to go so far? You see, Divine, you like things now, you're all here by yourself, do you know? And yeah, that was a Thursday. The only person that I knew in Bloom was my brother's ex-girlfriend, and we're all friendly with one another, so she kind of took me under her wing, but not really, because she had her own life as well. But that Sunday, she was like, yo, come to church with us. That's how I got introduced to CLC, y'all. Can we take a moment? Can we appreciate the work that the Lord has done? I got there on a Thursday. Friday, I kind of hung out. I didn't really do anything, and my roommate went out Friday night. She went out like around 7 or 8, and I thought, okay, cool, like now it's like 11 p.m. I'm like, she should be back anytime soon, you know? Obviously naive, I know everybody laughing at me right now, but she didn't come home the Friday, and I was like, okay, cool, that's scary. Mind you, I'm very naive. I don't know how that's how we be, you know? Saturday, she was still not back, and I started getting worried, because I'm like, okay, cool, at the end of the day, she's a woman. Like, it's dangerous being a woman in this world. So, you know, I was kind of worried for her, but I didn't know what to do because I don't really know her. I just got here, bro. So I was worried, and I texted her and it wasn't going through. It was one tick, and I was worried. I'm like, oh my God, what if something happened? So I let it go, and I remember that passed. And then Sunday, she was still not back. Now Sunday morning, I went to church with my brother's ex-girlfriend, and then after church we hung out at their house, and it was a very cool environment. We cooked, like, you know, those nice Sunday meals. I still remember that day. It was chef's kiss. But yeah, so we spent the day together, and then at night they woke me back, and it was all 5 of them to campus. I was like, okay, cool, I'll see you on Monday. Went up to my room, and I realized my roommate was back because the room was open when I walked in, and her side of the room, like, her phone was on the table. So I was like, okay, she's back, she's just not in the room, she's somewhere in Rest. So I hung out for a bit, and I realized I left my phone at my brother's. I'm not gonna say her name because that's nobody's business, but I left my phone at her house. So I was now worried that, bro, I need an alarm, there's a lot that I still need to do. So I was like, okay, I need to call myself because I don't know her name. But my roommate still wasn't around, and I don't really know people in my corridor except for, hi, this is Divine, she's my new roommate and she speaks French. So I waited around for my roommate, and she still wasn't around. So I took her phone, and I know the next part of this video is like, oh, but why did you do that? And I recognize it was wrong for me to go to her phone and just, you know, type my name and see what I saw, because it still is her privacy. But I don't regret that, because I mean, now I'm sitting talking about it, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so I took her phone and I tapped Divine on WhatsApp to call myself. And then obviously, you know, with WhatsApp, whenever you type a word or a name, it shows you every conversation in which that name was mentioned. And let's just say I saw the most horrible things being said about me. She told her family I got a black one. and they were all very apologetic about getting a black one, whatever that means. They were like, we're so sorry this is happening to you, just hold on, be strong. Is there a way that you can ask? And she's like, no, it's, if I ask now it's gonna look bad, and all of that. They were like, just hang on, second semester is not that long anyway, make sure that she stays on her side of the room, that she doesn't touch your stuff. If your things go missing, go report it. We don't want her to, you know, take your things. Mind you, I got down on Thursday and I hadn't bought my fridge yet. I bought my fridge maybe 2 weeks after that, so I wasn't really buying groceries or anything. The only thing that I had was milk, bananas and apples, because bananas are my favorite fruits and apples keep doctors away, you know. So I kind of, those were the only things that I had. And she volunteered, she was like, please put your milk there. So it's 1 carton of milk, maybe like like this size, I don't know what this mean, picture bananas in here, and apples. And she told her mom that I put all my stuff in the fridge, that I was taking up so much space. She told me, no, you can buy like proper groceries, is fine. I only use my fridge for mama pakis, which are up here. Mama pakis is when your mom cooks stuff for you because she cares for you and loves you, and they freeze them and they put them in the freezer. So she's like, you know, I've got space, please use this. And so she told mom that I put like groceries in the fridge. I was like, bro, I don't even have anything. I eat out every day. So it was really hurtful, and they were just very dumb stuff, you know, very stereotypical things being said, like I'm loud. I'm like, bro, I'm literally the least loud person that I know. I'm always like shushing people, including myself. She said I was keeping her up at night. I'm like, bro, I got you Thursday. How am I keeping you up at night? Like, you left Friday. And her mom was like, well, at least she's not Xhosa. And I was like, what's wrong with Xhosa people? Like, am I missing something? It was very confusing. So I remember after that, I just took my stuff out of the fridge. I was like, I'm not gonna engage into this. And when she came back, she kind of noticed that, you know, my stuff were out of the fridge, and she kept trying, like, she was like, do you want a cup of tea? And I was like, no, it's fine. You know, it was kind of hard for me to situate myself because I've experienced like looks and stuff, but to actually live with somebody that genuinely apparently doesn't like you, for some reason it's different, you know. So I had to really pray about it. I remember speaking to the prime about it. She asked me if I wanted to change rooms. I was like, I'm not gonna change rooms, like I'm here now, I'm gonna make the best out of the situation. Now I know at this point, like, people are like, bro, why didn't you, you know, square up, fight, or why didn't you leave? And I just am different in the sense that I didn't want this experience to be something that tainted the way that I saw white people, because I knew that I had the potential to do that. I also didn't want that to be an experience where she could get out of this having learned nothing. Now, before you fight me, black people, I've seen a lot of things in the sense that it's not my job to teach you how to not be a bigot, I guess, for lack of a better word. But if you are a human being, whether you have 5 followers on Instagram, let's not even mention Instagram, I don't even care, but you have a level of influence, even if that influence is limited to yourself and to one person next to you. We all have a certain responsibility. And so as a human being first, as a Christian, I took it upon myself not to teach her and to try and reform her or anything, but I knew that I had a level of influence, even if it's just one person, and that's her. And I thought about it, I was like, I'm not gonna lose my mind and my Christianity, because I see a lot of things like I'm black before I'm Christian. Bro, that's a whole other conversation. But if you understand anything about Christians, is that you come to Jesus, not that you're not divine anymore, but you are Christian before you are divine. So I had to understand that and put myself in those shoes. And I know it's easy to say than done, because I was angry. Because I was like, bro, it's been 3 days and I've seen you for not even a full day since I've been here. I had every reason to be angry. At the same time, I was like, I'm not gonna let this be something that is not useful, that is not to the glory of God. So I'm gonna work with this. Did it take a lot of patience and prayers? Yes, because imagine, I just got there. I don't really know people, and this is something that I have to put up every day, fake smiles and whatever. So ultimately, I decided to use that to teach her, but also teach myself. Long story short,
2 hours later.
I know you're laughing like it's been 15 minutes, Divine. I'm sorry. I really am trying to be more concise with what I say. But my point is, I think in our second year we weren't roommates anymore for obvious reasons. And I saw her at church. She got saved. Now I'm sure it's like, but not everybody's Christian, so what's the lesson here? The lesson is that you can still impart into somebody without fighting them. And that's what I aim for. Can I fight? Yes. You want proof? I've broken somebody's neck before. I'm not proud of it. I was a child.
I said what I said, okay?
My point is we can go there, but nothing really great happens. Nothing really great can be told about that. But I saw her coming to church to CRC. I didn't invite her, but she knew I was going. She got saved. She started coming I saw her at prayer. I saw her at church plus minus consistently. Obviously I wasn't looking for her, so it is what it is. All I'm saying is there is a lot more to learn in situations like that.